what suggestions would you offer to the next generation regarding how to best get involved in the political process in general and in public service as you embark on your careers?
I guess I'll start with that. Well, if the polls keep going as they are, just talk to Jay, but that was a joke. What I would say is having had it's just been such a pleasure to be working for the McCain campaign in New York, and I've got to see a lot of things. And I will have to say that the most important thing is it doesn't matter what you're doing when you first get involved. If you're just making phone calls, if you're just knocking on doors, doing work that you may think, you're all very smart in here. If you're doing work that you may think is, beneath you or something, don't go in with that attitude. Go in with, I will do anything, and whatever's in front of me, I'm going to do it well. Because I will tell you, as the executive director in New York, I've seen a lot of people come in, very smart people. I won't disclose their names just to protect them, but protect their identities. But people will come in and say, well, I'm a professor. I'm not going to make phone calls. And I'll say, okay, we just won't talk to you anymore. But if people are willing to pitch in and maybe make phone calls for a couple days and then say, well, you know what, I have 5 or 10 friends. I can get them to do a phone bank. All of a sudden, they're running a phone bank. And then they say, well, we're running such a good phone bank, maybe we could put together some people who could go out into the registering voters and going door to door. All of a sudden, you have the makings of running an office. Next time the candidate and his team come to town, they'll recognize the strides that you're making, because all this stuff is tracked. They'll recognize the strides you're making and then put you in charge all of a sudden of Eastern Iowa or something like that. And then all of a sudden you're running multiple offices. And then when the candidate keeps coming back, they're going to ask you, what issues are important to the people here in Eastern Iowa? And if you keep your ear to the ground, you can then start to interact with the policy people and the speechwriting people. And all of a sudden, a job that started out just as making phone calls with just a little pluck and luck and some hard work, all of a sudden becomes something where you're running something, you're interacting with policy, and you're getting involved at a much higher level. So, I would just say, get involved, pick a candidate, get involved, try and get involved as early as possible, and just do what's in front of you well, no matter what it is, because no task is unimportant. No task will go unnoticed as long as you do a good job.
I think that's right on target. In fact, Jon Favreau, who's the speechwriter for the Obama campaign, the chief speechwriter, started off as an intern in John Kerry's office. And when John Kerry had no money left, and the people were saying John Kerry's going to lose, they needed a new speechwriter. So Jon Favreau got that job, and he's now chief speechwriter to Senator Obama. But I joined this campaign back in February of '07 because Jay called me and said, Senator Obama asked me to work on the campaign. Are you interested in getting involved? And Jay said something which stuck with me. He said, get involved and we'll do great things. And I thought back to my favorite TV show, which I'm sure some of you political people out there also watch, which was The West Wing. And I remember this scene distinctly in which President Bartlett stated, decisions are made by those who show up. And for too long, young people have talked about voting, they've talked about rocking the vote, but then come election day, they never show up. And this campaign, however, has represented a seismic shift in that paradigm, and we saw that in Iowa. And I think on November 4th, sorry, I think we're going to see, if you're a Republican, vote on November 5th. If you're a Democrat, vote on November 4th. But in all seriousness, I think young people are going to, we're going to see young people come out and participate in a way that they never have before. I'm always bothered by how dismissive most of the pundits are when they discuss youth participation. In fact, just this morning, the syndicated columnist Peggy Noonan suggested that 18-year-olds were not informed enough to vote, and she worries about their participation in the election. Now, look, I've seen some of the videos from the McCain-Palin rallies, and quite frankly, I don't think it's the young people we need to be worried about being uninformed. I'm saying that being uninformed is equal opportunity among old and young. And the media often analogizes the Obama campaign and the youth of America to the Pied Piper, leading all the children into the river. But to the youth of America, it's not just Barack's story, it's not just his speeches, it's not even just about Barack Obama. As Barack said in his convention speech, this election is not about me, it's about you. And from the young people I've met in this campaign, I can tell you that they understand this. They understand that this election is about their future, about their ownership of the serious problems that this country faces. They understand that this election To the young people of America, this election is about providing health care for more than 47 million uninsured, about ensuring ensuring college education is affordable again, about combating global warming, about changing our standing in the world, and about bringing an end to an ill-conceived, ill-planned, and ill-executed war in Iraq. I think Chris spoke about this. Civil participation means responsibility and opportunity. It's a chance to be involved in those decisions, but it's also a duty to learn about them. This is a duty that's not glamorous, but it's the very foundation of showing up. We strive for a more perfect union, and it is the time for the youth of America not only to make their voice heard, but also to shoulder part of the load. Whether you're going to vote for Senator Obama or Senator McCain, you should knock on doors, talk to your neighbors, read about the issues, do whatever you can to make sure that we never suffer from the greatest threat to American democracy, which is apathy.